to the Good Food Program. Your host is Cindy Sesenya, the Expanded Food and Nutrition Education Program Assistant for Lake County, Ronan, Montana. These programs are designed to help families with children use USDA and other inexpensive foods to prepare tasty, nutritious, attractive meals that are low in cost. The recipes will be put on the screen later, so keep a pencil and paper handy. Videotapes of these programs are available at the FNEP office in Lake County and other Extension Service offices in Montana and the Salish Kootenai College Library in Pablo.
Hi, welcome to the Good Food Program. My guest today is Kathy Hamel. She's a nurse for the Tribal Health Department here. And we're going to make fry bread today and a stew, which is traditional food for wakes and powwows and all kinds of things. Yeah. And Kathy's going to show us how to do the fry bread.
The demonstration that I have for fry bread making is I went up and down the reservation to do a survey on all the expert fry bread makers. They all gave me a different idea of how to make it, and not one really gave me the approximate measurements for fry bread. One person says, well, a half a bowl of flour and a handful of baking powder. So what I'll try to do today is to give the approximate measurements for fry bread making. And I'll be using 6 cups of flour.
And this is the commodity flour?
Yes, this is commodity flour. And when I've watched my grandparents and all the expert the experts, they never really measured to the exact. It was just like so. For the baking powder, about a teaspoon of baking powder for every cup of flour. Now here again, it's not measured to be exact. A heaping teaspoon of flour, baking powder will be fine.
This is the way I learned how to make fry bread too. When we first moved to Montana, that was what the recipe that I was told is a half a bowl of flour. But they didn't tell you what size bowl.
A pinch of salt for flavor. You can put it, just something like that. And also, some people use sugar, some people don't, depending on their sweet tooth. I like it because I do have a sweet tooth, and then I like my fry bread to be nice and golden brown, and this kind of browns your fry bread. And you just throw it all in together.
This is true with cornbread too. That's why they have you put a little bit of sugar in with cornbread, because otherwise it just comes out that pale yellow.
Another thing that I have that I use is commodity milk, powdered milk, and this will give it some fluffiness and some flavor and some nutrients for your fry bread. And I'm just going to pour this into anywhere from, maybe half a cup to a cup of powdered milk you can use. And then
this also will add calcium.
Yes, And then one of the things that you do now is I'm going to be using my hands because you've got to feel the dough to feel it for the lightness. You want it light and fluffy and You don't want it hard or anything because then it won't raise. And you can't, one of the things there is that you can't play with your dough once you got it, once you're mixing it. You put a hole in the middle of the flour like so. Get it, you know, just like a volcano there. And then you use lukewarm water to mix it. And you pour a little bit in at a time. And just start working it in. Start working your flour in with the water. Just work with it. And then when you're through with that little mixture, you go to another area and then put a little bit more water in there and mix that. Until it's, you know, until it gets firm but not hard. Now you can't play with it all that much now. This is one of the things there that you have to do, is not play with your dough. And you shouldn't knead it too much.
That's one thing with having children help you with things like this, is they tend to overwork doughs, like biscuit doughs. And
now you see the texture of this. It's just really nice. Nice and light and soft. Then you start doing this, you know, to put more of the flour in with your mixture.
doing it that way, you would keep from putting in too much water at once, too.
It's going to be hard. Okay, there's your fry bread dough.
Okay. And then you just, for the next batch, you do the same thing?
Yes,
I see.
Put another little hole there, you know, put a little hole there and start working it again so that you can...
Do you want to set the first one aside, or does it?
Oh, it doesn't make any difference. You can set that aside if you know, like so. And
Would be a fun job for kids, though. They would like that.
oh, yes. There's your other dough now. Okay.
Do you let it sit for any time before?
If you want to, you can let it sit, but you can cook it right now, too.
Okay.
You know, it's all ready to cook now.
Do you want to go ahead and cook some up, and can I try that?
Well, sure you can. Let me get rid of some of this. I'll have
Here.
to get rid of this here. Now, I don't want to get, if you want to try some, I shouldn't put this in there because this is going to be really hard than what
Okay.
I've got on my fingers. See? So you might want
Let's take a break while Kathy
Yeah.
washes her hands.
because this, I forgot all about this. Because
You're not the first one to get caught here with that.
One of the ways you can check your oil for to see if it is the right temperature is to drop some dough in your oil, and if it starts sizzling, then your oil is ready. And you might have to adjust your frying pan with the oil in it every now and then to make sure that it's
Oh, that looks good.
okay. And while one is cooking, you can always go over here and get another piece. Sometimes you might have to put the dough back in flour because it might be a little bit.
Ooh, that's pretty. And you put the hole in the middle so it'll bubble up, so it won't come up in big poofs.
Yeah, and it's cooked evenly.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
And it's maybe about a minute on each side. Have a paper towel or something like that to let it drain, the oil drain off of it. You can make your fry bread any size you want. Little ones, big ones. You can probably about, in thickness, maybe about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch thick.
And it's very low cost. And I'm living proof that you can practically survive on fry bread and beans for a long time. That's Ooh, those look delicious. I think while you're doing that, I'll start sauteing the onions for the stew.
Okay.
And on the stew, we're going to use ground elk today, because that's what we have. And I put in 2 tablespoons of bacon grease. And that, a lot of people don't like to use bacon grease, but by the time you get a great big stew, you don't have to worry about the cholesterol. You're not going to get that much, and it does add some nice flavor. In here. Kathy and I were talking about where fry bread came from and how it got started, at least on this reservation. And she said that the people used to grind their own corn, and maybe it started that way. And then maybe when the trappers came out, they brought ground wheat flour with them. I don't know. Just know it's been around for a long time. That onion skin is being very difficult. And needless to say, when they make fry bread and stew for a powwow or something like that, it's gallons and gallons of stew and lots of fry bread. And then we'll put in about 2 pounds of the elk meat. And elk is very lean. That's one of the reasons that we use the bacon grease also. Or you could use just cooking oil. Yeah, the elk is about as lean as the cows they're trying to breed now. Is that about the size of the fry bread that they use to make the Indian tacos with?
Oh,
Kathy?
for the Indian taco, you can have them any size you want.
Okay.
You know, anywhere from 6 inches to 8 inches, 10 inches, depending on your appetite.
Well,
So these are
When you-
small.
when you finish with those, could you make us just one big one so
Yeah.
we could illustrate how the Indian tacos put
Sure,
together? immediately?
sure. I'll make another little batch there
Thank
for
you.
one big one there. These are small compared to what is usually made.
It smells good.
Then you use your fry bread. I'll make it a little more.
Okay.
Like one big one.
And the stew will have lots of vegetables in it. We're going to put potatoes in it, and turnips, and carrots, and peas, and onions. Did I say potatoes?
Yep.
Oh, and celery, and tomatoes. And vegetables are a really good thing for you to eat. They have vitamin C, and vitamin A, and folic acid, and iron, and a little bit of calcium. And let's, oh, we're going to put cabbage in too. Plus, very good fiber and low calorie.
This is breaking apart. Now, what did I do wrong?
I didn't touch it.
Well, I don't know what happened. My fry bread is breaking apart. I think I got this a little bit too fluffy, but
There's yet another fad diet making the rounds that we might as well get into here. And it's a soup with a lot of vegetables in it. And basically it's a good soup. There's nothing wrong with it. The problem is it doesn't have any protein in it and it doesn't have any calcium in it. And people have been going on this soup and eating nothing but the soup with no milk or anything to bring in the protein or the calcium into their diet, and that's not good at all, because then your body will start using it from your muscle mass and your bones. And so the weight that you lose is stuff that you really need to hang on to. So please don't do that. But if you want to eat the soup and have a nice whole wheat bread with it and a glass of milk and maybe some cheese, then it'll probably blow the diet, but you'll be healthier.
How's that?
About done there?
Just one more here.
Okay. Well, why don't we take a break and cut up 10,000 vegetables, and then we'll start again. Okay, through the magic of television, we've got the vegetables all chopped, and we have just about 2 of everything. We have 2 carrots, 2 turnips, 2 potatoes chopped, 2 celery sticks chopped, and we'll just go ahead and put those in. We already did the meat and the onions, and then we're going to add a can of tomatoes. And probably some salt and pepper?
Sure, you got salt.
Okay. Probably about a teaspoon of salt. That much. It's a teaspoon. And the pepper's over here, I believe. And probably half a teaspoon of pepper, I think. And this is a 16-ounce can of tomatoes. And we thought we'd start with this. And you can add more if you like more tomatoes. Kind of mush them up. And then some water, do you think?
Sure, water
Oh, probably about a cup and a half of water.
to cover it.
Cover it? Okay. 2 good cups of water. And then we'll turn it on kind of high for a little bit till it gets boiling real well. And then put it on simmer and let it do that until the vegetables are done. About probably an hour, hour and a half. And then right before we finish it, we'll take 2 tablespoons of flour and put it in a half cup of cold water and mix that up and stir it in with the stew, and that'll thicken the juices. And at that time we'll add frozen peas just because they look pretty. Okay, these are the things that we've made today, and this is the stew and the fry bread, and now we're going to show you how to put together an Indian taco. And we start out, put the beans on the fry bread.
Put the beans on the fry bread.
And Kathy was saying you could use hamburger in this or a chili kind of mixture. Is that about enough?
That's fine.
You want to put some
You can put
of the
your
other things on?
lettuce. Good amount of tomatoes.
That looks pretty.
Then your
Put
cheese.
some cheese. It's got a little warm under the lights, so it looks a little wormy. It'll taste good though.
And a garnish of onions on top of that if you want.
Okay. We want to put some salsa and
Salsa.
okay. And this looks like it would keep you fed for quite a while. There you go. And this is plain yogurt, and you could use sour cream if you want, but it's much more fattening. Or you could use the cottage cheese and vinegar mixture that I explained the time before. And these are all very balanced meals if you have them with milk. And thank you very much, Kathy. I appreciate your help.
Thank you for inviting me. It was fun.